An empire that rose from a single city on the banks of the Tiber River, to control vast lands from the windswept coasts of Britain, to the deserts of Egypt, and the mountains of Armenia. Its legions marched across continents. Its laws and language shaped civilizations. And its legacy still echoes through the modern world. The story begins in the 8th century BCE. According to legend, Rome was founded in 753 BCE by twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, who were raised by a she-wolf. In truth, Rome began as a small settlement of Latin-speaking people in central Italy. Over centuries, it grew in strength, overthrowing its kings in 509 BCE and establishing the Roman Republic, a system where power rested in elected magistrates and the Senate. The Republic expanded through alliances and wars. Rome fought and won against powerful neighbors, most famously defeating Carthage in the Punic Wars between 264 and 146 BCE. These victories gave Rome dominance over the western Mediterranean, and its legions soon marched east, bringing Greece and much of Asia Minor under Roman control. Wealth flowed into the city, but so did political tension. By the 1st century BCE, Rome's politics had become poisoned by corruption, rivalry, and violence. Powerful generals like Gaius Marius, Sulla, and Pompey clashed for dominance. Into this world stepped Julius Caesar, a brilliant general who conquered Gaul and gained immense popularity with the people. In 49 BCE, Caesar crossed the Rubicon River with his army, defying the Senate and sparking a civil war. He emerged victorious, becoming dictator for life, but in 44 BCE, he was assassinated by senators who feared he sought to be king. Rome fell into chaos again. After years of war, Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, defeated his rivals Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Octavian became Rome's first emperor, taking the title Augustus in 27 BCE. The Republic was over. The empire had begun. Under Augustus, Rome entered a period of stability known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, which lasted for over 2 centuries. Roads, aqueducts, and cities spread across the empire. Roman law and Latin language tied the provinces together. Great emperors like Trajan expanded the empire to its greatest extent in the early 2nd century CE, stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. But the empire was not without problems. The succession of emperors was often unstable, with civil wars erupting when rulers died without clear heirs. Corruption and extravagance drained the treasury. And Rome's borders were constantly tested by outside peoples, Germanic tribes in the north, Parthians and later Persians in the east. In the 3rd century CE, Rome entered a period of crisis. Between 235 and 284, dozens of emperors came and went, many meeting violent ends. The empire fractured under internal strife and external pressure. To restore order, Emperor Diocletian divided the empire in 285 into an eastern and a western half, each with its own ruler. This was meant to make governing easier, but it also laid the groundwork for division. Constantine the Great reunited the empire briefly in the early 4th century, and in 330 he founded a new capital in the east, Constantinople, in what is now Istanbul. The Eastern Roman Empire, later called the Byzantine Empire, would endure for centuries after the West fell. Meanwhile, the Western Roman Empire grew weaker. Economic troubles, heavy taxation, and reliance on mercenary armies eroded its strength. Barbarian groups, once allies or enemies kept at bay, now crossed into Roman lands. The Visigoths sacked Rome in 410 CE under King Alaric. Other tribes, like the Vandals, swept through Spain and North Africa, even capturing Rome in 455. By the late 5th century, the Western Empire was little more than a shadow of its former self, a patchwork of territories ruled by barbarian kings in all but name. In 476 CE, The last Roman emperor in the West, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. Historians mark this as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. But Rome did not truly vanish. The Eastern Roman, or Byzantine Empire, continued for nearly another 1,000 years, preserving Roman law, culture, and learning until its fall to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. And the legacy of Rome, its architecture, its engineering, its legal principles, even its language, lived on in Europe, the Middle East, and beyond. The story of the Roman Empire is one of extraordinary rise and inevitable decline. It teaches us about the power of unity, the dangers of corruption, and the fact that even the mightiest empires are not immortal. Rome was not built in a day, and it did not fall in a day. But its story continues to shape the world we live in, to this very day.